Hello, my people. It's your Negro with Aptitude and a host of the Blackboard, Mickey Lee. It's been a couple of weeks since I seen you, and I'm sorry about that, but I caught one of the flu bugs going around, and boy, was it a doozy. So I've been coughing and hacking for 2 weeks. So I'm finally have enough voice where I can do a video. If any of you are dealing with that coughing and hacking, or you've gotten the flu, please make sure that you jump right on it. In my case, I wound up having 104 temperature that I couldn't get to abate no matter what it was that I did. So I wound up going into the ER in order to get Tamiflu and to get on a proper regimen. Now, I do not take the flu vaccine. The last time I had the terrible flu was when I took a vaccine or was sort of forced into it because of the work that I was working for someone else at the time. So this is the first time I've been really ill in well over a decade. And thankfully, the worst of it lasted a few days and I was still able to go to work, but definitely jump on it right away. All right, with that said, I'm glad to be back with you, and I'm going to continue my series now, 60 Life Lessons at 60. And this particular video is called Mind Your Mindset. Recently, I was somewhere, I can't exactly remember where, but again, this was one of these things that somebody either had on a bumper sticker or they had written on some sort of sign somewhere. Um, as many of you know, I'm based in Oakland, California, so there's a lot of creative communication going on around here. And so somebody may have painted it on a building for all I can remember. But it stuck with me because Mind Your Mindset is probably one of the key lessons that I've learned in 60 years of life. Um, your mindset makes up so much of who you are, and your mindset really is going to determine your eternity as well. Um, what we have seen, in particular in the last 15 years, is I think the public becoming aware of how much mass mind manipulation goes on in the United States in particular. Although it goes on worldwide, I believe the operatives in the United States are masters at it. And there's a lot of mind manipulation that is going on in every level of society and just about every single thing. So you really have to mind your mindset, because if you don't, then you're subject to this influencer and that influencer. You're subject to having what I consider situational ethics, which has been at the forefront of American society from the very, very beginning, but have been in overdrive, in particular the last 15, 20 years. So a yes is not a yes anymore. A no is not a no. There's always some kind of blurry gray, environment that you can create, and people are supposed to just kind of go along with that. So you definitely have to mind your mindset. You also have to mind your mindset because it is your mind that creates whatever it is that you're going to be, and whatever it is that you're going to do. So the truth of the matter is whatever you think you are, you are. And I don't mean this in some sort of Napoleon Hill way where, think and grow rich and all that. But the truth of the matter is whatever you think about a lot is where your time and your energy is going to be spent. As they say, or as the Bible says, out of the mouth flow the issues of the heart. Well, before you even get to the issues of the heart, whatever's going on in your head is going to affect the heart and eventually come out of the mouth. So this lesson number 6, I'm way behind on the schedule, but This lesson number 6 is mind your mindset. Now, when I started this series, I told you that I've just turned 60 a few weeks ago. It's very much a bittersweet birthday because the bitterness is there are some things that I definitely regret on the professional level, not so much on the personal level at all. I'm single by choice, also child free by choice. I do not regret either one of those choices. But there are some things professionally that I wish that I had already achieved, decades ago. And there are things financially that I wish I had achieved decades ago. The wonderful thing is that I'm still alive, and all of these goals that I have are quite attainable. So that's why minding your mindset is important. If your mindset tells you that you're 60 years old and you might as well just lay down and die and be done with it, then that, in fact, is what you'll be doing. You'll be spending the rest of your time here on earth just waiting to punch the clock. And for me, that is not the way that I want to spend that time. Now, the sweet part of the 60th birthday is, again, because the goals that I have not yet met are still within reach. And I am working on a plan now to execute them so that this year I move light years ahead in achieving those goals and in setting up the rest of my time here in having accomplished those goals, but also in leaving the type of legacy that I would want to be remembered by. So minding your mindset is extremely important. And at this time, when a lot of people are discussing mental illness, a lot of people are suffering from mental illness. Now, personally, I do believe that a lot of it is spiritual illness that manifests itself in issues of the mind, because the mind is the part of you that is everlasting, and the mind and your soul are very much connected. So control of your mind generally means control of your soul. So in this time where more than any other time in American history, people are discussing openly their mental health issues, the need for mental health care, and so forth and so on. This is a time when people must be very careful about their mindsets. We also see that having the wrong type of mindset can wreak havoc on a community. As you well know, when I'm the community that I belong to and that I am most concerned about is the ADOS community. That's the ADOS community, American Descendants of the Enslaved. Some people are calling us freedmen as well, and that's fine. Some people are also talking about FBA. Again, that's not a term that I use because Tariq Nasheed did not originate the concept of delineation based on lineage versus race. Yvette Carnell did, and what she came up with was ADOS. But I don't want to belabor that point. But having the wrong mindset can be very destructive, not only to you as an individual, but it can be extremely destructive to a group of people. So one of the things that concerns me greatly is the immense changes that have happened to us just in the 60 years that I've been alive. I'm the first generation of civil rights babies, and, we came out the gate with a lot of opportunity. It may not have been everything that we wanted, and we are still fighting today because we live in a wicked society. And this society is hell-bent, literally, on trying to destroy us. But up until recently, we had the correct mindset and we were able to withstand all of these onslaughts, all of these assaults against our very being. Now it's gotten much, much more difficult because we've lent our minds into other people's cultural values, into other people's customs. And for many of us, we are still trying to get acceptance from a group of people who have proven for over 5 centuries that they hate us to an atomic level, to a molecular level. And so to expect those people to see value in you, whether they are currently, openly hostile or not, is really foolishness. So the individual mindset that you have is key to determining what your life will be like and how you will be able to execute any plans or goals that you have for your life. But also, we can see that having the wrong mindset collectively can have such a destructive force on a culture. So this lesson number 6, where I'm saying mind your mindset, you really need to be diligent about that. One of the ways to do it is to look for people either online or in real life that are doing the types of things that you want to do, or exhibiting the type of character that you want to exhibit, or exhibiting the types of behaviors that you want to exhibit, or are talking about the types of things that you want to talk about, and connect with those people either online or in real life and emulate those people. Start changing what you watch on TV. I personally say, don't watch the TV, or if you're watching it, watch old school stuff that, definitely has some positive effects on you, either in the way that people are presented, in particular Black people. So for me, watching The Cosby Show, watching Living Single, watching even older sitcoms and older content is extremely important, because we were very dignified back then. We were very well presented, and we meant business. How we have presented ourselves over the last 25 to 40 years, 30 years, 25 to 30 years, is not something that I personally recognize, and I don't want to receive it. A lot of the content that Black producers, writers, and performers are producing have too many narratives that are not beneficial to our people. So either there's a narrative telling the Black woman that she should just settle for the bare minimum, and not even really the bare minimum. So setting her up to accept the destruction of our people because the males do not value marriage or family, and therefore, and he's put in an elevated position far over her, and she's supposed to be running in circles and turning herself into a pretzel and all this kind of stuff in order to deserve to have one of these elusive great Black men, okay? Or you have the alphabet soup folks that are constantly imposing their being on every single type of content out there. And, up until 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we didn't hate those people, but it certainly was a big taboo in our group, and we feared God enough where we didn't give license to those people. Again, we didn't stand on the corners like some of these other people did with hideous signs and all of this kind of stuff. It just, these folks weren't given place in our community, even though we knew some of them existed. Now they're everywhere, and again, this is coming primarily through Black males, but there's enough black women that are in that lifestyle as well, which makes them problematic. So if it's not the narrative browbeating black women to accept a guy that is far less accomplished and far less serious about life than she is, then it's the narrative of the alphabet soup people, or there's just the general narrative that there's nothing else going, there's no other way to be black other than the ghetto get down. And, personally, I'm sick and tired of all of it, and have been for more than 30 years, and never have watched a lot of TV after the 1980s, after a show like The Cosby Show went off, or Living Single went off, or Martin went off. I stopped really watching any TV with any regularity. And I strongly suggest that you consider doing that as well, because it is one way to mind your mindset. The next thing is, what music are you listening to? So again, I spend very little time listening to the radio, and this was something I stopped doing back in the 1980s when gangster rap entered the scene, and I just got tired of all the B's and H's and all that kind of stuff on English language radio stations, black radio stations to be specific. And so I started listening to Spanish language radio stations, and was able to pick up learning to speak Spanish at a decent level because of that exposure. Also learned about a lot of great artists that I wouldn't have heard of otherwise. But again, minding your mindset, what kind of music are you listening to? As you know, music creates a vibe, and that vibe can very much affect the way that you behave. Then, what kind of people are you watching on social media? Are you watching people that are going to uplift you? Are you watching people that are looking out for you, not just here in the earthly plane, but are telling the truth about, the existence of eternity, for example, the existence of heaven, the existence of hell, the fact that the vast majority of people are going to wind up in hell because they won't spend enough time pursuing heaven? Are you listening to people that are helping to anchor you in God's word, even if they're somebody like me who is openly telling you that I have doubts, not about God existing, but just, why we as a particular group of people have been abused, and all of the atrocities that have been allowed to be committed against us, particularly in a so-called Christian nation. And that is going to take up a lot of my subject matter as I move ahead in producing these videos. But that all said, it is very important that you mind your mindset, because if you don't mind your mindset, believe me, somebody else will. And again, your mindset is the first place that determines what your life is going to be like. So if I could have told my younger self anything, I would have said, be very careful about minding your mindset. Fixate your mind on, a couple of key goals at a time, and get those goals met. And then be careful about what else you take into your mind, because that is what shapes you. I think I did a lot of it just kind of naturally, because just naturally my gatekeep was up, and there were just things that I refused to allow into my spirit. There were things that I just refused to allow my brain to contemplate or to accept as my reality. But definitely, if you're a younger person watching this video, or you happen to be my age and you are stumbling about and you're trying to figure out why you're stuck in a certain place, mind your mindset. Examine what your mindset is and why it is that way. And then take steps, very, concrete steps to change it. A lot of it has to do with not allowing certain programming in or shutting off the programming if it's already there, and coming to recognize these narratives and deciding that you are not going to participate in that. Okay? So, again, this is your Negro with Aptitude and host of the Blackboard, Mickey Lee. And this is the series 60 Life Lessons at 60. This is lesson number 6. And I've got to crank these out much faster. But anyway, please let me know in the comments below what you think about this particular video, what you think about the lesson of minding your own mindset, and how do you mind your mindset. I'd really love to hear from you. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.